What's up, guys? I'm excited to bring you another lesson this week. Hope everything's going good. Hope you're not too bored. Um, this week, we're going to talk about morality. What is morality? Um, and our objective for this week is to know the existence of universal right and wrong, and know that there is evidence of a moral lawgiver, and that lawgiver being God. So, we're going to read from the book of Romans, Romans chapter 2, verses 14 and 15. It says, "Indeed, when Gentiles who do not have the law do by nature things required by the law, they are a law for themselves, even though they do not have the law, since they show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts. Their consciences are also bearing witness, and their thoughts now accusing, now even defending them." So, you may be saying, what is morality? You get from that word morality, we get the word moral. You've heard the words moral, so you need to have morals. He has morals, she has morals. The definition of moral is being concerned with what is right and wrong. So, from our passage that we just read from the book of Romans, we see it is written to the Roman church. So, the Roman church was divided into two types of people: Jews and Gentiles. We learned in the Old Testament that God provided what? He provided the Ten Commandments and the other Mosaic law to his people, the Israelites. This law told them how to behave and how they were to live as God's chosen people. And this is the law that you hear all the time in sermons or in different classes where the law is taught. This is that law. Even in our passage, it talks about the law. But this passage says the Gentiles who they did not receive the law from God, they did not receive the Ten Commandments, they didn't receive his Mosaic law, they were still able to follow that law. Now, how is that possible? It's because everyone has that moral code inside of them. Everybody has this moral code written on their hearts. Everybody, every single person that has lived and ever lived has this code inside of them. It's simple. Before you know God, before I knew God, you knew that things that were good. You knew that it was good to be honest, brave, to do the right thing. You knew that. Even though you weren't a Christian, you knew that in your heart. You knew that it was the right thing to do, to be a nice person. And we even know what is bad. Like, we know that stealing is wrong. Killing someone is wrong. You can't take something from your neighbor and that be okay. We all know that is wrong. These are the things every person in the world, whether you're religious, whether you go to church all the time or not, you simply know as a member of the human race that it is wrong to kill someone. You know it is good to be nice to somebody. You may even heard an atheist say, "I don't need God to be good." Is this true? It is a little bit. It is true. You don't need God to be a good person. You've heard it said that there are a lot of people out there that are a lot nicer who aren't Christians than are Christians. So it is true to an extent that an atheist can be honest, can be nice, can give to the poor. That's what Paul's talking about here with the Gentiles. They didn't have the law, so they did good things and bad things. But if the atheist was to say to you, "I can be good without there being a God at all," that's when they get in trouble. If there is no God, then what is the source of good and evil? We talked about this in previous lessons. If God didn't decide what was good and evil, who is to decide what is good and evil, what is good and what is bad? You see, you can't. If you don't believe there is a God who distincts good and evil, then what is good and what is bad? As Christians, we believe in the perfect moral standard that God has given us. We believe that anything that deviates from His good nature and commands is sinful. It goes against who God is. Therefore, there is a real right and wrong. That's just the bottom line. There is a right and there is a wrong. Um, Even for those who don't believe in God, there is. So if there is no God, which the atheist says there is no God, what is the atheist's moral standard? That's kind of simple. It's what his preference is, what he thinks is right, and what he thinks is wrong. Um, Whatever whatever the culture says, whatever the world says is right, and whatever the culture says is wrong, is what they go by. It is what is acceptable to them. That kind of morality is called relativism, which simply means is morality is relative to the individual or the group. It's up to them. It's up to them what they think is good or evil. That gets us in trouble, because what happens when we think is right and wrong? That's what gets us in trouble. It's kind of like this. Morality is like, if you believe in the relativism, morality would then be like fashion. It would just be from, well, he likes this dress this way, she likes dress this way, and that's what they think is the only way that you can dress. Um, but is morality really like that? If someone says that murder is wrong, do we just say, oh, that's just wrong to them? It's not wrong to me. Do we do that? No. When we say that murder is wrong for everybody, at all times and all places. So if some things are really right and wrong, what is the best explanation for this? Is there a moral law that is binding people from all cultures? Yes, the answer is yes. There is a law from all cultures and every single person. So if that's the case, there must be a moral lawgiver. And again, we talked about this earlier, that is God. There are certain things that everybody knows deep down that are right and wrong. We talked about it as well. We know that murder is wrong, stealing is wrong, being mean is wrong. We know that treating people with respect, we know that that is the right thing to do. And the simple answer to that is that God is the best explanation of all morality, because he plants it in our hearts. He tells us and shows us what is right and what is wrong. It's not what I want or what you want. God is that moral lawgiver. And that's not a bad thing. We can see that God has given us this great ability to trust him, trust what is right, and trust what is wrong, which is given to us by God, given to us by this great moral lawgiver. That's an awesome feeling. It's not a bad thing. We don't have to rely on ourselves. We have God who provides all that for us. So again, as we always look at, we have misconceptions and truths. So the misconception is that morality is determined by each individual. Is that right? We talked about that. No, it's not. It's not what we want. The book of Judges tells us this. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as he saw fit. We see they did everything they saw in their own eyes what was right. They did whatever they wanted, and that's wrong. In the book of Deuteronomy 12:8 says, "You are not to do as we do here today, everyone as he sees fit." You can't do what we want. It doesn't work that way. Romans 1:8-28 says, "Furthermore, since they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, he gave them over to a depraved mind to do what ought not to be done." Then we see with the truth. The truth is the existence of a universal right and wrong is evidence of a moral lawgiver. Again, that is God. God gives us that. God gives us the morals. He gives us what is right, what is wrong. Ephesians 5:1 says, "Be imitators of God, therefore as dearly loved children." Matthew 5:48 says, "Be perfect, therefore as your heavenly Father is perfect." Colossians 3:10 says, "And have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge and image of its creator." We are to be imitators of God. We are to be perfect. We are to strive to be perfect. We're not going to be perfect. We are to strive to be perfect as our Heavenly Father was perfect. So we are to strive for the things that he thinks is right and know the things that he thinks is wrong. We are to be imitators of that. So as we wrap things up this week, it is a morality. Again, I want you to know this: it isn't what you think is right and wrong. We have a lawgiver, a great moral lawgiver in God, who gives us the ability to know what is right and wrong. So hope you guys enjoyed this week's lesson. We're still trying to give you the most content that we can, almost something every day. We're still excited to do that for you guys. We hope you have a good week, and we'll see you back next week. Goodbye.